Hello everyone and welcome back to Aaj Ki Tafsil. I am absolutely thrilled you're hanging out with us today. Our goal today is just as beautiful as it is important. We are going to break down the moral, historical, and deeply spiritual lessons of Muharram, exactly as they're depicted in the really delightful Kaniz Fatima cartoon series. We're going to look at exactly how this story takes massive historical concepts and translates them into everyday, practical actions. Okay, let's dive into our structured breakdown. We've got 4 key themes to unpack today: the importance of Yawm Ashura, the bowl of good deeds, the power of forgiveness, and the blessings of niyaz and charity.
So how do we actually teach kids good deeds during Muharram? I mean, it's the core problem, isn't it? We have these vast, abstract religious concepts, and the real challenge is making them understandable, and honestly, more importantly, making them actionable for children. And that is exactly the puzzle this story solves so brilliantly.
Section 1. The importance of Yawm Ashura.
Now, the cartoon anchors its entire narrative on a profoundly significant historical event. The characters discuss how the 10th of Muharram is a day of massive significance because it's the day the beloved grandson of the Prophet, Imam Hussein, may Allah be pleased with him, was martyred at Karbala. This historical context really sets a deeply respectful and reflective tone for everything else that follows.
And out of that deep reverence comes this incredible spiritual opportunity. The characters remind each other of a really beautiful hadith from the beloved Prophet. It states that fasting on the day of Ashura is hoped, by the grace of Allah, to completely erase the sins of the previous year. Literally, one entire year. That is a massive spiritual reset, and it's explained so elegantly to the younger audience.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how the source material simplifies the traditional fasting rules for its viewers. It breaks it down into a super clear 2-step process. Step 1, you fast on the 10th of Muharram itself. Step 2, you pair it with an additional fast, so either the day before on the 9th or the day after on the 11th. It takes a pretty theological guideline and turns it into a completely clear, easy-to-follow instruction.
Section 2. The Bowl of Good Deeds. So the characters decide that the absolute best way to honor this momentous day is by performing good deeds, or nikyan. They gather around a bowl filled with these little chits of paper. But hey, notice this incredibly subtle, beautiful detail. Before they even start, it's mentioned that they should begin drawing chits from the right side using their right hand. Why? Well, because it aligns perfectly with the sunnah, the preferred practice of the Prophet, to always start tasks from the right. It is literally learning by doing.
The girls end up drawing some really charming nekyan to execute. Ramin draws a chit telling her to recite istighfar, seeking forgiveness, and subhanallah 70 times. And of course, she immediately tries to negotiate it down to 10. Then we've got the task of feeding someone chocolate, which gets creatively swapped out for milk sharbet. Another character realizes she's actually already completed the task of removing an obstacle on her walk over. And finally, the task of making peace, or sulah, which actually leads right into our next big lesson.
But first, we've got to look at Ramin's little negotiation. She protests that 70 times is just way too much and complains that her chit didn't even have numbers written on it. But the older character calmly explains a truly vital concept. She says, sure, 10 times is okay, but pushing yourself to recite more, that yields a far greater spiritual reward, or sawab. Well, Ramin quickly changes her tune and happily accepts the challenge of 70. I absolutely love this next one. Removing an obstacle. The character mentioned she already did this by simply kicking a stone out of the pathway while she was walking over. It takes the grand, sweeping concept of a good deed and makes it incredibly accessible. Let me ask you right now, when was the last time you moved a stray shopping cart or a fallen branch out of someone's way? These tiny, everyday actions are profound good deeds. Section 3. The Power of Forgiveness. And this brilliantly illustrates a great problem-solution dynamic. We start with the grievance. Areeba bumped Raiqa with a door. Raiqa told Areeba her quote-unquote software is broken, and bam, a petty argument erupted. But then we get the overarching solution provided by the older sister. She introduces the Islamic teaching of patience and pairs it with the specific task drawn from the bowl to make sulah or peace.
To resolve the fight, a deeply powerful hadith is shared with the feuding girls, and I really want to read it to you right now. Whoever forgives a Muslim's mistake, Allah will forgive their mistakes on the Day of Judgment. Just feel the incredible weight and authority of that promise. It completely reframes their petty little squabble over a bumped door into a massive opportunity for divine mercy.
Once that perspective shifts, the resolution is so swift and sweet. The girls apologize. Their friendship is instantly restored, and beautifully, the peacemaking just naturally transitions into an invitation to share some kheer later that evening. Because let's be real, food and forgiveness just go hand in hand.
Section 4. Blessings of niyaz and charity. Let's clearly define the term niyaz, as it's presented in the story. Niyaz is food or drink, like that delicious kheer they anticipate, or the milk sharbet Barrera's father prepared, that is offered specifically to convey spiritual reward back to historical figures, particularly Imam Hussein. Remember when Barrera was supposed to give out chocolate but didn't have any? She substituted it by sharing her baba's niyaz, achieving her good deed beautifully through sharing.
So, the crucial point here is a stunning promise from Islamic tradition that the characters highlight. It says spending generously on your family on the 10th of Muharram brings blessings in sustenance or rizq for the whole year. It really encourages an open heart and an open hand, ensuring that this deeply solemn day is also marked by incredible familial generosity.
Drawing from all these wonderful interactions, the story leaves the kids, and us honestly, with a really clear Ashura action plan. Number 1. Actively perform good deeds, no matter how small. Number 2, spend time listening to and reflecting on the stories of the martyrs of Karbala. And number 3, offer and share niyaz with your community and spend generously on your family. It is just a perfectly structured blueprint for the day.
I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. We saw how just a simple chit from a bowl prompted two friends to resolve their argument. So look at your own life right now. Who do you need to make sulh with today? Whose mistake can you forgive so that yours might be forgiven? Think on that for a bit. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.